All right, what's next for us to review? We got... Really? We're gonna do this one next? I guess. All right. Let's get this over with. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Eugene Reviews. And for today's film feast or film festivity, I'm actually going to be going over a film that a couple of you guys did mention for me to do. And that is the 2019 Safdie Brothers directed and Adam Sandler starring Uncut Gems. As far as the history, yes, I did see Uncut Gems when it came out on Netflix around late January of this year. And yeah, when I started the channel, I did notice some of you mentioning to do Uncut Gems. So I figured, what the hell, let's go ahead and watch this. And yeah, that was my only viewing of it. If I have seen a movie that I've reviewed before, I'd usually watch it a second time or multiple times to get a refreshing take of it. But this time I didn't watch Uncut Gems again. It's just, it's a little aggravating watching again, to be honest. Not that it's bad or anything, it's just that, you know, it just becomes increasingly frustrating and nerve-wracking to watch. That part I'll get into further in the video. For a film of this magnitude, for a film that really is very divisive and very aggravating, I figure I'm gonna do this in a setting that makes me feel comfortable, that makes me feel at ease, and makes me feel at home. Now I'm in my comfort zone. So unfortunately, this video is not sponsored by Wingstop, and it's not sponsored by Coca-Cola. But this is my safe haven. This is where I feel at home. This is where I feel at ease. And for a movie such as Uncut Gems, having to go through that again, this will make me feel much, much better. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hit 3 acts. Act 1, development. Uncut Gems, take 1. Before we start, I need some clarification. Drums or flats? Let me know in the conversations and comments below. Let me get started with wing number 1 before we get into this. That feels so good. So, Uncut Gems really didn't have any anticipation before its release, other than the fact that we know that Adam Sandler was a part of the movie. But interesting to note, Adam Sandler was the first choice, but initially his spokesperson or his manager told him not to take the role. So when that was said, it was actually Jonah Hill who was considered to take place of Adam Sandler's character in this movie. But ultimately that didn't go through, and it was ultimately gone back again originally to Adam Sandler. Now, this is really kind of interesting territory for Adam Sandler. Other than films like Reign Over Me or Punch Drunk Love, we really haven't seen Adam Sandler tackle on a very dramatic and really kind of suspenseful role, if anything. So with Adam Sandler's name already attached to it, people are already going to be talking about this. Also interesting to note, NBA champion and forward Kevin Garnett, whom you've seen in the movie, that role was also considered for the late great Kobe Bryant. It was also considered for All-Star forward Amari Stoudemire. It was also considered for All-Star forward and center Joel Embiid. Safdie Brothers graduated from Boston College. Kevin Garnett won a championship with Boston. It kind of makes sense. And one thing too that was vital about this movie was kind of the Jewish identity to this film. Heavily influenced by Jewish cultures and ways of life, the Safdie Brothers, who are Jewish, mentioned that one of the key elements in this was learning through suffering. So good. So you've got Adam Sandler being the lead role in this dramatic movie that he's really not accustomed to. The role for Kevin Garnett being considered for Kobe, Amari, and Joel Embiid at one point. And then finally, the Jewish identity and influences in this film. Ultimately, the key of learning through suffering. All right, so with those quick, short, sweet little production notes out of the way, let's go ahead and hit Act 2. Act 2. Execution. Uncut Gems, take 1. Let's go into another wing before I continue with this one. Man, that garlic parmesan on fire right now. So one of the important and quick things to note about the overall impression of this film. Adam Sandler is exceptional in this film. We're so used to seeing the gags, the laughs, the humor, the comedy from him, but every once in a while seeing him in a dramatic role is a nice little, changing of the tone, changing of the guard, if you will. But really seeing him in this film and being this really kind of amped up character that is gambling with his debt, that's gambling with other people's money, that's gambling with other people's lives. It's really kind of thrilling, it's anticipating, it's, frustrating, it's aggravating. It makes you feel so many emotions when you see him and the way he conveys his body, his, body language, his looks, his emotions. Adam Sandler really does a good job in this film. If anything, if you could take anything away from this film, it's that. Adam Sandler was on par and he put on one of the more better performances of his career, especially in this part of his career. But with that pointed out, let's mention really kind of the tone of this film. It's very aggravating. It's very frustrating. It's mentally draining. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm saying this because it's able to really kind of strike a nerve to the audience after every single sequence. Whether it be the loan shark coming in and getting his loan and stripping him naked and putting him in the trunk and calling off the bet. Whether it be him pawning off the ring of Kevin Garnett, his championship ring. Whether it be him, on his out of luck romance with his soon to be divorced wife. Oh, excuse me. And the girl he's got on the side. Even him fighting The Weeknd. Like, why were you fighting The Weeknd? What he do but make love songs for your girl? It becomes increasingly frustrating because you see the guy and he ultimately kind of looks like he's building momentum only to have the ground from underneath him taken away. You think it ends up being good, and then there's this falling action and it just becomes bad for him and he has to pick himself back up again. You'd think that after all these chances that they give him, they'd stop making bets, but he's a gambling man. And the fact that he's gambling his debt it's really, really, really kind of, walking a thin tightrope. And then of course, the ending, which was really shocking to me at least. So the ending sequence is actually influenced from a real life event. It was a playoff game between the Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers. Garnett puts up exceptional numbers, to which Adam Sandler's character bets points on how many rebounds he's going to get, how many points he's going to get, what kind of shots he's going to make, so on and so forth. He locks in the loan shark and makes him watch the game. Kevin Garnett puts up phenomenal, astounding numbers that which get Adam Sandler's character to win bets upwards of $600,000, $700,000. It was a lot of money that he won. And as each stat grows, as each play plays out, as each possession goes in favors for Kevin Garnett, Adam Sandler wins something. And you see it in his face. You see that he's winning, and he's finally proving his loan shark wrong, that he can win on these bets. And ultimately, at the end of the game, when he wins a lump sum of money, he's shot and killed. Yeah, so it ends on this abrupt, very, very shocking and very, very almost degrading ending. Like, he gets shot and he won the bet of a lifetime. But remember, learning through suffering. He suffered so much, but when he finally achieves and wins something, it's taken away from him. So I think really you see in that learning through suffering, as well as throughout the entire film. And people are mad about this film. People are mad about the ending. People are mad about how just increasingly stressful it gets watching this film. But sometimes movies aren't meant to be happy. They're not meant to be joyful. It's not meant to be happy-go-lucky and, flowers blossoming and sunshine all throughout. Sometimes films can be very, very frustrating. Sometimes films can make you aggravated. They can make you feel frustrated. They can make you feel nervous. They can make you feel angry. And as far as conveying that kind of emotion, I think that film, Uncut Gems, does a good job in making you feel aggravated. And boy, did it aggravate me. I need another win. So exceptional performance from Sandler. Just an aggravating tone and feel throughout this entire film. The concept of learning through suffering playing all throughout, and the shocking ending that makes fans feel frustrated, but you understand really the vital part of that sequence in that Sandler's character wins. He finally wins. He finally conquers his demons, but it ends abruptly when he's killed. But he can say he won. He can say he finally won. After all of the bad luck he went through, he can finally say he won, even if it meant losing his life. All right, Act 2 is out of the way. Let's go ahead and hit Act 3. Act 3, response. Uncut Gems, take 1. I'm actually happy I'm getting through this review doing this. So ultimately, the film got most of its notoriety when it got onto Netflix in January of 2020. But prior to that, it was released in a limited release on Christmas 2019. And much to the chagrin of the audience, the critics actually loved this film. And everybody noted, this was Sandler really, coming out of his shell and becoming a very, very exceptional performer, an exceptional actor. Much to which he garnered a lot of award nominations, a couple wins. He didn't get nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor, unfortunately. But a lot of people did mention it was a big snub that Adam Sandler's performance didn't even get considered for nomination.
You blew it!
But ultimately, I said it was loved by critics, and currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a fresh rating. I think it's over at least 90%, maybe 92%. But the audience, having that long battle with the critics, audience versus critics, the audience didn't like this film. More so divisive on this film. It currently holds, I think, a 52% rating with the audience, which is rotten. But hey, half the people like it. It's just not a general half. So ultimately, awards and nominations for Adam Sandler's performance, that's really remarkable. Being initially limited release on Christmas 2019 and then becoming streamable on Netflix in January of 2020. And the long-standing war between audiences and critics, where the critics loved the film, but the audience was divided. All right, that's out of the way. Now I can finally go into the verdict for Uncut Gems. Here we go. So the thing about Uncut Gems, I think it's a good film that audiences, I still think, have a misconception for. People feel angry, people feel aggravated, people feel frustrated, ultimately to a point where they feel like they hate the film. But you gotta understand, it's not meant to be a happy-go-lucky, feel-good film. This is a harsh, down-to-earth, smack-dab reality type of film. It's supposed to be aggravating, it's supposed to rattle your senses, it's supposed to make you feel very, very angry. And for that, I think it's vital to really get an appreciation for a film like that to make you feel that way. Just because a film makes you feel frustrated and aggravated doesn't necessarily mean it should be overall panned and hated. It's supposed to make you feel that way. Who knows, maybe sometimes, you just want to pop in a movie that makes you feel angry and that does the job for you. So in that regards, yes, it's a good film to make you really kind of aggravated and to make you feel, uncomfortable, to say the least. It does a great job in doing that. But ultimately, people should just walk away from this film knowing that Adam Sandler put on one of the best performances of his career. We're so used to the Happy Gilmore Adam Sandler, The Waterboy, Billy Madison, Anger Management, Little Nicky, 50 First Dates, all these comedies and rom-coms and whatnot. Even like the dramedies, we're used to seeing that. But a full-on drama, thriller, maybe suspenseful, we can't really envision Adam Sandler doing that. But the fact that he did that is really, really remarkable. And it shows that you gotta take Adam Sandler seriously sometimes. He's got range. So for that, I do applaud the efforts of this film. They shined a light on Sandler that we didn't think was possible. And yeah, it may have been frustrating to see in regards to its narrative and its story, but it's supposed to do that. You're supposed to feel bad for this guy. And then of course, the final shocking sequence where he gets killed just when he wins something. Finally, when he wins something, his life is taken from him. I think is the reflection of the Safdie Brothers' Jewish connection of learning through suffering. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give Uncut Gems a fair 7.2 out of 10. I can already hear a couple of you guys complaining over my review. I can't hear you though because I'm chewing. What did you say? What did you say? I can't hear you because I'm chewing.
Shut up!
But that's my take on Uncut Gems. What's your take on it? Do you feel the same way as I feel? Do you feel like maybe there's a misconception about this film with the audience? Do you completely disagree with me and think that this film is just hot garbage? Any and all comments, please jump on the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Also, let me know your thoughts too on the wings. Drums or flats? Who knows? The world will never know. And yeah, thank God. Thanks to Wingstop for making some bomb-ass wings to get me through that review. That concludes our episode. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. Be sure to like my Instagram page at Eugene Reviews. There you'll see links to my other YouTube videos as well as some quick takes on some films that recently came out. I'll also be posting stuff like top 5 spooky films for the month of October. Be on the lookout for that. Continue to support the channel, and yeah, it's been fun. This was an interesting episode to say the least. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I'm enjoying these wings right now. I don't know if I'm gonna do another recording of me eating. I think that's a little too obnoxious, but I needed this to get through this review, so yeah. Thank you guys once again. This is Eugene signing off for another episode of Eugene Reviews, and I will see you guys next week for another brand new episode. And that is a wrap. Actually, it's not a wrap. I still need to finish this food, and I'm a pretty slow eater. If you weren't on board with this idea of me eating in front of a review, take it up with my girlfriend. She had the idea. Hi, baby.